Welcome to the Dear Doc podcast, where we will discuss the business of running a dental practice with a panel of experts. Now, your host, Dr. Christopher Hoffpower.
Good morning. Hey guys, this is Doc Hoffpower coming to you from my studio here in Alvin, Texas. And I am lucky enough to be joined by the godfather, the Mac Daddy of the tech world whenever it comes to HIPAA. And that would be none other than the infamous or famous, I'm not sure which one, Reuben Kamp. So today you guys are going to get the pleasure of meeting him in person, so to speak, and finding out a little bit about who Reuben Kamp is and why he does what he does. So Reuben, man, how's it going this morning?
It's going well. Thanks for having me, Chris. I'm hiding out in the basement. My wife is still asleep, and we're both grabbing for our AC controls this morning, I see.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. It's quite humid over here. We've got a huge storm coming through, and I swear any moment now, little Amazon wildlife is going to be nesting in my studio. It's quite humid. So usually I like to start these things off by just saying, Reuben, how did you get into tech? What is your history with that in general? And then we're going to dive in and go more specific, go after the details.
Sure. Yeah. So tech, my friend, Greg, we played hockey together. And when we were 10, I went over to his house and he had this custom built computer. I was used to seeing Dell and Gateway. If you remember those boxes with the cow print on it.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, man, what is that? All right. And he had, I learned after the fact he had built his own computer. I'm like, that is awesome. How do I do that? So he kind of guided me at that age through my first build, and I kind of became a hardware junkie after that, where, I was really into console gaming. That really brought me into the world of computer hardware. And so as I got older, I met some friends. Some of you who are clients, you may have talked to Nick or Gabe. We've been friends since high school, and we really got into the computer networking and gaming side of things. So we've always been.
I have to ask a question there and interrupt you a little bit.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm a little bit older than you are, and I've been actually doing computers for longer than you have.
True.
So did you get in on the easy part where you could just stick a card into a slot, or did you have to sort jumper switches?
No jumper switches.
Oh, man, that was such a pain. The first time I built a computer where we could just plug a card A into slot A,
That's
I freaked out. Or the SATA cables. Oh my God, that was such a game changer.
Oh my God, yeah, you go from the huge IDE ribbon cables.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was awesome. So I started on XP really when I built my first computer. So I had it pretty simple. Yeah. Sorry, you had the hard pathway. But
that's why I gave it up for so many years. Yeah. It was too much.
Yeah, next one you should build. They're real simple. But so that kind of transitioned. I was like the one guy in our group that would, if something went wrong, I'd be the one to fix it. I just kind of had a knack for doing that. And then my dad kind of pushed me to do this, but me and my friend Alan started Ithaca Computer Solutions in high school.
Really?
And for those of you who don't know Ithaca, New York.
Did you fly too close to the sun?
It has a happy beginning and ending. But we would go around and fix Cornell professors' laptops for $50 an hour, and we were very happy. So little entrepreneurialism, little IT business startup in high school, and then once I got to college, I kind of didn't tell anybody because I didn't want to fix all of the dorm room problems. So that was kind of went back into more of a personal sense after that.
Did you have one particular family member that no matter what you did, they just never seemed to learn? I've got my wife's grandmother, actually.
Yeah.
I just started paying someone to go and fix her damn computer because I got so tired of trying to troubleshoot it over the phone and saying, okay, look, this would be so much simpler if you could just connect to the internet, but the virus won't let me.
But Microsoft called me and I remoted them into my computer. I'm like,
right, exactly.
Hey, that's my mother.
This wonderful Nigerian prince.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, those are the people that fall for it. But absolutely. Yeah, that's my mother. I had remote access to her computer for a long time, and then I learned the lesson far too late. Get her an iMac, and
oh, goodness,
the Apple Store will help her. And so that kind of solved that problem. Yeah, Macs make it a little bit simpler for our tech not so savvy friends here.
So what is the funniest thing? Because I have a couple of stories. Whenever I was doing this, I had a good friend who actually owned an ISP, and so I'd go hang out and I'd do tech calls. And we had this one tech who's really incompetent, and so so you remember the old switchboard phones that were actually set up on Unix?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so was the network. And so every time he would call Tom had a program set up that it would see which number the call was coming from, and it would win nuke his computer every time he called the boss. It was kind of an in-joke that everyone knew about except for Sean, the bad tech. We had a blast. So what is the funniest computer story? Keep the names anonymous to protect the guilty. What's the funniest thing that's happened to you as a computer technician in dentistry?
In dentistry? Well, the funny part is that dentists think we're like almost like a general contractor. I don't know why, but we get calls like, my server's off. Okay, and we're on the phone with them and trying to, going through, hey, did you have any power outages? And they're like, oh yeah, the power's out. I'm like, what? Wait a minute.
I've never gotten one to that level.
Really? It's just like, hold on, let's wind back 1 second. You need to call the power company. Call us afterwards. So we've gotten so many calls that are like, that are not in our scope of work, but we we're patient, nice people. So we
right.
We try to be as helpful as possible.
My favorite technician was John Mora, and this guy called him one day, and he just puts him on speakerphone because it's so damned funny. The guy is screaming at him, all right? And he says, you bastards do this every time. I know you hate me, but you're going to fix this problem. And John was. So, yeah, man, just tell me what's going on. He goes, every time I call you, every time the internet drops out and we can never fix my problems. He goes, okay, sir. All right. So can you tell me the steps that you took before you called us, just so that we don't aggravate you, so we don't repeat anything? The guy says, all right. So I went ahead and I unplugged the router so that I can plug the phone line in and call you.
Did anything click?
It never did. So John finally, and it was the most beautiful, obviously pepcac, right? So John tells him, he says, sir, I'm afraid this problem is far more serious than we thought. And the guy's like, so does that mean it can fix? Well, no, sir, it can't be fixed. In fact, I need you. Did you save the packaging that the computer came in? Okay, good. I need you to repackage the computer, and I need you to seal it up, and I need you to send it back to where you got it. This problem is beyond our ability to help you. The guy goes, okay, all right, good. He says, now, when you do send it back, I need you to write a note on the outside so that the technicians understand why you're sending it back. Okay, all right, what do I write? I'm too stupid to own a computer. And just send it over. The guy starts screaming. He just hung up on him.
Oh, my God.
It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. That's kind of what got me into tech. It was just...
and yeah,
early days, man. Early days.
Yeah, luckily the startup docs are usually a little bit younger, but sometimes you get into trouble with assumptions. But yeah, for the most part, our clients are pretty good.
Well, yeah, you're dealing with the upper 2 or 3% of IQs on the planet. Sometimes you can't make that assumption.
Sometimes ego gets in the way of IQ. I mean, it happens to all of us, but
no, you're absolutely right. So anyway, getting back on track, how did you went from being this guy who was fixing people's computers and fixing the Cornell professors' laptops, and then you kind of hid away during college, so no one would force you to fix their computer in the dorms. Yeah. So what was the next step in the evolution, and how did that bring you into dentistry specifically? I mean, that's kind of a weird place to go.
Right.
So like teeth.
Well, I thought I did. So one step backwards is my dad is a dentist. He's a general
okay. I wasn't aware of that.
In Ithaca, New York. He's a GP. He just sold his practice, so he's an associate now, I should say, for 2 more years that he's done. So, literally from when I was brought home from the hospital, we lived on the 2nd floor of the dental office. And so I've literally been kind of surrounded by dental. My uncle taught at UNC Chapel Hill in the dental school there. We just have a lot of kind of dentistry surrounding the family. So I thought I wanted to be a dentist. So even from when I I got recruited to play baseball at SUNY Fredonia, which is just south of Buffalo. I enrolled in the 3-4 dentistry program there. So, I have a biology degree, so I took all the classes. And after my sophomore year, I transferred to Carolina I wanted to be a part of a bigger experience, better school. And it was kind of like my junior year when I was volunteering in the residency program down there. Shout out to Dr. Sutherland. They were using EagleSoft in there. That I kind of realized that like the actual art of working on teeth, I don't think fit my skill set or my inner drive. It was really support and technology and helping people more fit what I did. So I graduated. I finished my degree because I figured that was very important. Made biochemistry way harder to take when you knew it didn't have a means to an end. And after I graduated college, I got a job working for Benco, right? So you have dental and you have tech, and that kind of was a great marriage of my 2 skill sets.
Right, absolutely.
There's a little window in there where I was washing dishes for 8 months, but we'll just skip past that part.
I think we've all, anybody who's ever actually had a job has been there.
Yeah. So I had, when I joined Benco, there was like a senior tech. They let him go after 2 weeks. So it was a real sink or swim type experience for me, fake it till you make it. And I was going to these offices installing CBCTs and Gendex sensors as the certified expert. They literally printed on my business card, I'm a certified technician. And so I kind of honed my skill set in those 3 years I worked at Benco. And as many of us have had terrible bosses, count me into that, that I probably would have started this business at some point, but that kind of accelerated the process. And I started Darkhorse in 2013.
Fantastic. So 2013, by the way, is the year that I started my practice. October 2013. I wish I had known you then because I'd have had so many fewer problems along the way. As you know my systems intimately. And by the way, I'll be replacing my server with you guys pretty soon here, I think. I just can't wait for that to happen.
Plan a nice trip.
Oh yeah, but you guys do all my backups and everything, so I know it's going to be smooth. Honestly, if it wasn't you, I'd be terrified, just absolutely terrified.
Thank you. Well, we've gotten a lot of reps this year with all the Windows end of life stuff going on.
I imagine.
Yeah. So
we're and the fact that half of Texas municipalities have been taken over by ransomware. I don't know if you saw that in the news or not.
Yeah,
they had this one where the guy was like on the ball and like everyone's singing his accolades. Like, he kept it down to only 100 computers. And I'm like,
yeah, it is. Yeah.
He didn't fail as hard as everyone else did.
It's funny watching those things come across the line. It's like, oh, we were only down for 5 days.
Right.
Lost $20,000 in production.
Why don't they do something like deep freeze? Do you remember deep freeze?
Oh yeah, for Onyx. That's an awesome program.
Why didn't they do that? That doesn't make any sense to me. And then you just have a NAS that you store all the office documents on. They have one place to attack, and a NAS is a hell of a lot harder to take over than a desktop. Yeah,
the worst situation you could be in is a server and then a directly plugged. If that's your only backup system, a server and a USB hard drive. Like your system, we use it. It's actually a backup and disaster recovery system, and it's Linux based. So the jump is not happening, right? This Windows based ransomware is not also coded for another operating system. Also, these people were down for 5 days. Chris, if this happened to you, if ransomware actually penetrated your system, which it has not yet, we would just spin up our backup system. You'd be up in 5 minutes. Like, why are we? This is dentistry. Like, we're just. Every single day, the pace is unbelievable that you guys are going through. Jumping in and out of operatories, have something that can boot up in 5 or 10 minutes.
I know. I get it.
walk into work knowing that it's ready to go. Like, just check that box off in your mind.
Well, that is one of the things that people asked us to speak about a little bit, is storage and backups.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to really get to why you're here. And we can actually cover that one on our first episode. We're going to film that after this anyway. So folks, I did bathe, and I do change my clothing every day. I swear. I bathe at least once a week, whether I need it or not. So, but we're gonna film another episode after this. So if you see us both in the same clothing, it's not just because this is my favorite shirt or something. So, real quick. So as you went into this tech area, right, and you ended up your boss was a douchebag. By the way, hashtag my podcast is already labeled by Apple as having vulgar language. Surprise, surprise.
Explicit.
Yeah, your boss was a douchebag, and you're like, fuck this noise. I'm starting my own shit. So you start your own company, and how did that evolution take place where you became an expert in HIPAA? Because you truly are. How did you go down that line? And tell us a few of the stories the easy to fix things that dentists can do to not have half the problems they have. Because you and I both know there's 30 or 40 easy things to do.
Right. So
they're hard with team members. Because I just caught one of my team members going, yeah, just bring in your own USB drive and we'll put that on. I said, no, you give them one of our branded USB drives.
Yeah. And that is the hardest piece, is getting other people to follow through and training on that. And I mean, that applies probably to several different areas of the business.
There's a lot of people who don't even know why I just said that. So you're needed here.
Yeah. I mean, it's something, as we saw with this latest attack, something small can become something much larger and
Absolutely.
affect different areas of your business, including production and how you pay people and how you see patients. So, yeah.
HIPAA electronics.
So, my dad always said he didn't care what I was going to be, but he was like, if you're going to be the garbage man, just be like the top, the best garbage man on the block. So, when I started this,
sounds like your dad had high expectations for you. My parents did the same
that's
thing.
a podcast topic on its own. Dr. Reuben Kamp.
We'll chat
sometimes
later.
it's acupuncture instead of Novocaine for people that have, and he's had a long career of success with that. Like I said, it is a podcast topic in its own, holistic dentistry.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we'll table that for now. So when I left Benco, I had 20, 25 doctors that were, hey, Reuben, if you're going to leave, you're going to move on, just give us a call. And so that was kind of my starting group, my client base right there. Right. And my job at Benco was not that. It was mainly, I would install computer networks, I would install CBCTs and sensors, and get an office up and going, just like we do today with startup practices. But it was not HIPAA. So really, as we acquired more and more clients, and we've been very fortunate to be 100% referral based from day one. If we're going to do this correctly, HIPAA and the IT side are things that need to happen, right? In taking over from other IT companies and in seeing the attacks, it became very apparent that we needed to be the industry leaders in this, and the offices weren't going to do this on their own. And so I thought, let's take great support and then let's really invest. And I really invested in my own personal knowledge on this. Let's invest in education and see what we need to do to be HIPAA compliant and keep our patients' health information safe. And so when we send a quote from Darkhorse, you'll see every single line item says, this is the compliant, the requirement of the law we're meeting. So you'll see just across the board, this is what you need to do, and this is what we're offering. And we basically, unless you want us to do something above and beyond that, that is our core offering, is we're saying we're going to take IT, right? So we're going to take AV, antivirus, we're going to take backup, we're going to take firewall, email encryption, we're going to take all these things, and then we're just going to roll them into a simple package. And, here's a business associates agreement. So if anything happens, it's on us. Very important. If you take anything away from this Zoom call right here,
BAA.
get a business associates agreements from anybody. I mean, IT is most important, but from anybody that is on your server. Okay.
You actually have to have one for your janitorial service as well.
Yes. Oddly enough, dental labs are not.
I don't understand why dental labs don't have to. It doesn't make much sense to me. Maybe it's because they're covered entities, but they're not really. I mean, sure. I don't know. That was a mystery to me.
Good lobbyists, I guess.
Good lobby, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I really invested in certifications, education. I surrounded myself with some industry experts. Debbie Carr is an industry expert out there,
and we're going to have Debbie on the show as well.
Great, yeah, she's even another notch up there.
She's a bulldog too. I tell you what, she just it's gonna be harder keeping her on track than it is keeping me on track.
She's got the interesting stories because she gets called in when everything is broken every time. I mean, we do, but from an IT standpoint, not like my practice. All my data's gone since February, which is we brought on a new client that was with one of the large national companies for IT, and so we took over in May and discovered that they had lost all of their data since February, and so Debbie was my first call for that office because that's a breach. Right, losing the data, they got hacked. So, and then the company subsequently deleted the backup, so there wasn't anything to restore from. So, it's a couple different layers to this. So, Debbie, needless to say, Debbie was my first call, and she is working with the doctor directly on the most interesting side. We get into the very, this is what we need to do to protect our offices, and we do a really good job at that. But if it gets into like a high end, you need to contact OCR, and that is Debbie's world, and I'm happy to have her do that.
Absolutely. Oh man. So I guess the long and short of it is, if you need an expert in HIPAA, or at least electronic portions of it, this is your guy. Hey guys, this is Doc Huffpower again. Thank you so much for joining Reuben Kamp and I here, and just listening to me drone on for about 20 minutes. I hope you've had your morning coffee while you were with us, and you have a fantastic day. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Dear Doc podcast, your source for the business and legal questions associated with your dental practice. Don't forget to subscribe to the Dear Doc podcast on all major platforms.